Alright, let's dive deep into the Dallas Cowboys 2025 offseason storyline, because there's a lot to unpack here, and it's not just surface level drama or standard speculation. What we're looking at is a team that's about to walk into one of the most pivotal transitions in recent memory. The Cowboys aren't just tweaking their roster, they're overhauling the foundation, especially when it comes to the coaching staff. This isn't a simple case of plug and play. This is a full reset that could either unlock a new ceiling for the franchise or send them tumbling through another season of unmet expectations. Let's start where it all begins. The head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. This man, who spent last year on the Cowboys staff but wasn't the play caller, now steps into the spotlight as the head of the ship. And for the first time in a long while, we're watching the Cowboys place a serious bet on a first-time head coach. This isn't a retread hire. It's not some guy who's already had 2 or 3 gigs and is just here for a rebound. No! This is fresh blood. Someone stepping into the fire for the first time. And that raises the stakes immediately. Because here's the truth. We don't know what kind of head coach Schottenheimer is going to be. And neither do the Cowboys. That unpredictability is what makes this so fascinating. On one end, you've got a potential hidden gem, a sleeping giant of football intellect who's just been waiting for the right opportunity to unleash his vision on the league. Maybe he takes full command of this locker room, earns the respect of his players and staff, and surprises everyone by becoming a legitimate top 10 coach. That's not out of the question. On the flip side, well, there's the other scenario. The one where all the reasons other teams passed on him for years suddenly become apparent. The one where the learning curve proves too steep. The pressure, too much. And we end up looking back on this as a gamble that didn't pay off. But let's not pretend this is only about Schottenheimer. The Cowboys didn't just change one piece of the puzzle, they reshuffled almost the entire board. Matt Eberflus steps in as defensive coordinator. He's got pedigree, he's got experience, but with that comes expectations. New schemes always take time to settle. And history tells us that when a defense goes through a major philosophical shift, there's often a dip before the rise. Don't be surprised if the defense starts the season looking shaky before it finds its rhythm. That's just the reality of change at this level. Clayton Adams joins the staff as offensive coordinator, albeit in a non-play calling role. That's intriguing, because while he won't be calling the shots on Sundays, he's going to have a huge influence on the preparation and the game plan. His voice will matter, especially in how this offense evolves under Schottenheimer. Nick Sorensen, who spent time with the 49ers as a defensive coordinator, is now handling special teams, a role that might fit him better and give this unit the stability it needs. Across the board, we're looking at a staff that's not just new, it's experimental, and that adds layers of uncertainty to an already pressure-packed season. Now, be honest, how confident are you in this coaching staff? Like, truly, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being total chaos and 10 being we're headed to the Super Bowl, where do you stand? Because make no mistake, this is the crew that's going to determine how far this roster can go. Speaking of the roster, let's talk about the most important position on the field, quarterback. Dak Prescott is still the guy, and that needs to remain the case for all 17 games, plus whatever playoff run follows. The single biggest variable this season isn't the playbook, it's Dak's health. When he's healthy and confident, the Cowboys can hang with anyone. When he's not, everything falls apart. And we've seen that movie too many times already. There's a narrative out there that Dak is too injury prone, that he's past his prime, but let's put this into perspective. He was an Iron Man early in his career, 4 straight full seasons to start. Then came the broken ankle in 2020, the calf and shoulder issues in the following years, and now we're at a point where every hit he takes feels like it could be season-altering. The Cowboys need a full, healthy season from Dak Prescott. Plain and simple. If he's not there, none of the other changes will matter. You could have the best scheme, the most innovative coaching, and it still wouldn't be enough without your quarterback playing at a high level. And let's not sugarcoat it. Dak needs to bounce back. Last year was rough. He looked like he was pressing, trying to do too much, and it led to costly turnovers. The interceptions in 2024 weren't like the ones from 2022. These felt more like unforced errors, like a quarterback losing trust in his protection and forcing throws that weren't there. He has to clean that up, get back to trusting the system, and take command like he did in 2023. That version of Dak, that's a quarterback who can win playoff games. But if we get another erratic year, then the Cowboys are back to square one. Running back is another wild card. There's no clear bell cow. It's a full-blown committee at this point, and honestly, that might be the best-case scenario given the state of the depth chart. The names are intriguing. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, maybe even Phil Maffa or Devon. But that's a lot of maybes. Javonte Williams has the highest upside if he can return to form. His rookie year was electric, but since the injury, he struggled to get back to that level. This is the first season where he'll be 2 full years removed from that knee injury. If there's a moment for a breakout, it's now. Miles Sanders is the ultimate bounce-back candidate. He was one of the most productive backs in football in Philadelphia, running with power, vision, and burst. Then came Carolina, where he just completely fell off. If he can rediscover even 70% of that Eagles form, he could be the steal of the offseason. But that's a massive if. Jaden Blue is another one to watch. He's young, explosive, and could carve out a real role as a change of pace back. You're not giving him 20 carries a game, but can he get you 10 touches between runs and catches and make something happen in space? That's going to be the question. Receiver? Well, this is where things get a little more stable, but there are still dynamics to watch. CeeDee Lamb is the unquestioned WR1. He's a superstar, a route technician with after-the-catch juice, and he's going to get fed. The addition of George Pickens adds some much-needed attitude and explosiveness to the group. That's a guy who plays with an edge, and you need that. Behind him, Jalen Tolbert figures to open the season as the third wideout, but that could shift depending on how things shake out. Tolbert came on strong late last year, but consistency is still a concern. Jonathan Mingo is another wild card. He's got the tools, but didn't get much help last year with Cooper Rush struggling to push the ball downfield. If he gets a chance with Dak throwing in rhythm, we might see a different version of Mingo. Turpin's role will be more gadget-based, using him in motion, jet sweeps, maybe a screen or two, just enough to keep defenses honest. But the real story will be how the depth develops behind Lamb and Pickens, because that'll tell you how versatile this passing game can be. Jake Ferguson is locked in at tight end. That's his spot. He wasn't quite right last year, dealing with an early knee injury that lingered longer than most people realized. He never really looked in sync with Cooper Rush either. The chemistry with Dak was missing, and that matters, especially in tight windows over the middle. A healthy, confident Ferguson could be a major X factor this year, especially if the Cowboys decide to lean into more 2 tight end sets. That's something we've heard about for years but rarely seen in practice. Maybe this is the year it finally happens. The offensive line, on paper, looks solid. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, and Terrence Steele make up a starting 5 that's both talented and physical. If those guys stay healthy, you've got a unit that can move bodies in the run game and keep Dak upright in the pocket. But the depth, that's where things get dicey. If someone goes down, things could get ugly fast. There's not a ton of proven backup talent behind that group, which means the margin for error is razor thin. You're hoping for clean injury. Luck! Because if backups are playing major snaps, something went wrong. Defensively, it's yet another year of change. The Dan Quinn era is over, and now Matt Eberflus brings in a new philosophy, a new language, and a new identity. That's going to take time, and some players are going to handle it better than others. At defensive tackle, Osa Odigizua and Maisie Smith are projected starters. Osa feels like a good fit for what Eberflus wants to do. He's quick, disruptive, and versatile. Maisie Smith, on the other hand, is in a make or break year. It's tough for any young player to have a new defensive coordinator every single year, but that's been Maisie's reality. He's got to prove he can be a force against the run, or this team's interior is going to be a liability again. Micah Parsons is obviously the engine at edge rusher. He's going to lead the unit in snaps, pressures, and probably sacks. Unless Max Crosby level conditioning becomes the norm, Micah's snap count will still be managed, but he'll be the constant presence. Behind him, you've got Dante Fowler, who's coming off a solid season. If he gives you 6 sacks and consistent pressure on third downs, you'll take that. Donovan Ezekwu might emerge as a rotational piece. Marshawn Kneeland will likely be used on early downs to set the edge, And if Peyton Turner can kick inside, he adds more flexibility. Sam Williams is a big X factor. If he's healthy, he brings juice. The linebacker room is the most mysterious group on the roster. Week 1 might look completely different than Week 18. Kenneth Murray, Damone Clark, Maurice Linguard, Jack Sanborn, Shamar James, all in the mix. But the big name here is DeMarvion Overshown. He's coming off injury, but by the end of the year, he might be one of your top 2 linebackers. You're going to see a lot of nickel, so the green dot, the communicator, becomes a major storyline. Who wears it? Sanborn has the experience. Murray is the veteran. But if Lufau takes a leap, that changes everything. Corners are another roller coaster. Darren Bland is the only lock, but where he plays is up for debate. Nickel or outside, it depends on what happens with Trevon Diggs, who's recovering from injury. If he's back, you can move Bland to nickel, which is ideal. But if Diggs isn't ready, then you're shuffling. Israel Mukwamu might have to start inside. Savion Redwell is a rookie with upside, but we'll see if he's ready. Other names like Kyer Elam or Andrew Booth might get thrown into the mix. It's fluid and probably will be all year. At safety, Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson are your starters, but watch out for Marquise Bell and Wanya Thomas. 2 young guys who could force their way into the rotation. They bring speed, instincts, and physicality. Don't be surprised if we start seeing more of them by mid-season. Special teams are steady. Brandon Aubrey, Brian Anger, Trent Sieg. But the return game? That's still undecided. Cavante Turpin leads the way, but who's the backup? Deuce, Vaughn, Wanye Thomas, Jaden Blue. That battle will be one to watch in camp. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a comment that sent shockwaves to the NFL rumor mill, Lamar Jackson has ignited speculation about a potential future with the Dallas Cowboys. During a casual appearance earlier this week, Jackson made an eyebrow-raising statement. I'm going to shine in Dallas. While the context remains unclear and no official discussions have been confirmed, the football world is abuzz with possibilities. Jackson, currently under contract with the Baltimore Ravens, has been a central figure in MVP talks and playoff hopes in recent seasons. Yet his unexpected reference to Dallas has fans and analysts wondering if something bigger is brewing behind the scenes. Was it just playful talk? Or a cryptic hint at dissatisfaction in Baltimore? Cowboys fans, already known for their passion and hunger for a return to Super Bowl glory, have taken to social media with a mix of excitement and skepticism. The possibility of Lamar Jackson suiting up in a star-emblazoned helmet is the kind of scenario that fuels off-season daydreams and front office headaches. Dak Prescott, still the face of the Cowboys franchise, has faced scrutiny for playoff shortcomings despite strong regular season performances. With his contract situation regularly a topic of debate, Jackson's remark couldn't have come at a more tantalizing time. The idea of a dual-threat quarterback of Jackson's caliber in Dallas's high-powered offense is undeniably intriguing. Of course, the realities of the NFL make such a blockbuster move complicated. Jackson is locked into a long-term deal with Baltimore, and the Cowboys would face significant cap gymnastics to make any sort of trade plausible. But rumors don't care about cap space. They thrive on uncertainty, timing, and just the right amount of audacity. For now, all we have is a comment and a whole lot of speculation. But in the ever-dramatic world of the NFL, that's often how the most stunning stories begin. Could Lamar Jackson really be envisioning a future under the bright lights of AT&T Stadium? The league and its fans will be watching. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.